everything. It says fight those who don't believe in Allah. Let's get the Jews and the Christians.
You know everything.
I'm not God, but okay, sure. Well, why not?
I'm God.
All right, what's up?
You're only allowed to speak with Muslims.
Are you God?
So I cannot pretend that I am something that I'm not. But let's just say there's a possible universe where I am God. Carry on.
On the second
Can I
coming,
offer you to be my slave, my servant for 7 kingdoms?
well, you know what?
Perfect. Yes, perfect. So what you are doing is you are talking about the ability to provoke someone to sin.
No.
So quiet. I know where you're going. So you're talking about the idea of is it possible? What was it? Is it possible to tempt God? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Listen very carefully. So you can tempt God. However, tempting is simply trying to entice. If the thing that you are tempting doesn't have the ability to perform the action you're tempting them towards, then you can't do that. For example, quiet. Can I tempt you to become an animal? Can I tempt you? Listen very carefully. Can I tempt you to become a dog? No, you lack the ability to become a dog. So therefore, if you're tempting God towards sin, God lacks the ability to sin, so God cannot sin, so provoking God to sin doesn't work.
Just asking, can you say to God, look, I'll become a Muslim if I have £1,000? So, let's like refine what this is. So, you believe it's a sin to say to Allah, I will give you £1,000 if I become a Muslim. That's a sin, right? If I ask Allah, I will become a Muslim if you give me £1,000, is that a sin? Is that a sin? Is that a sin? So, will Allah give me this £1,000? Well, I'm asking you. Answer my question. Do you believe if I say to Allah, give me £1,000? You like
This is my doubt table. You're being rude when you refuse to answer my question. So if you are not willing to engage with me, and you're proclaiming these false philosophical topics, then you can lie.
You said that you're not allowed to talk with Christians or debate with Christians. I asked you, where did you say that in the Quran? You can't say in the Quran.
Without seeing someone,
So what do you go by?
you just talk to him.
What do you go by? You understand?
Temptation is just
On judgment. On judgment. Jesus, right?
He said that he's already taken him to a mountain.
You know what? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. We already answered you. Now what?
I didn't hear about you previously. Someone told me about it.
Yes.
All right. Well, the answer will be on Soko Films and Revelations 22:13. I gave you the answer. You cannot. It's the channels on YouTube. You can go look up. You cannot tempt something that. Okay. Define temptation.
About the signs of the day.
The temptation, when they said to jump, he said,
Define temptation.
he said that
Define
not
temptation.
tempt the Lord.
Define temptation. Define it for me. If it's not temptation, that means you know what temptation is. So if you know what it is, define it for me.
Warning you, okay?
Okay, so you don't know what it is. Perfect. Let me teach you. Temptation is when you provoke somebody to commit sin.
It's going to be covered.
Okay? You got that? Now, can you provoke... Quiet. Can you provoke something to commit an action that it can't do? Can you provoke something to perform an action that it cannot do? Can I tempt you to become a dog? No, because you don't have the ability to become a dog. Therefore, if you are tempting God, God doesn't have the ability to sin. And we agree that the definition of temptation is provoking something to sin. Doesn't have the ability, because sin is going against God. God can go against himself. Simple. Now, when you have the idea, really, so can your God go against himself? Can your God go against himself?
He doesn't need to.
Can he?
If he chooses it,
So your God can go against himself.
all the power.
If your God can go against himself, can your God wipe himself from existence?
You won't be here talking about it.
Can your God wipe himself from existence?
Sorry, don't try. Either let him talk to himself, or if you've talked to him there.
Because there's too many voices in
Can your God wipe himself from existence?
Come this side. You might be thinking.
Hamza is a coward who tried to debate philosophy, and then when I came to him to confirm his points, he ran behind his notes and texting his helper. Subhanallah for Islam, come to Christianity. Alrighty. So,
Yeah, mate.
Yep.
Too many people talking.
sorry. We'll go over there.
Actually, David, stand here because there's some light.
Where to go? Get over here. So, my dear friends, name's David. What's your name?
Good to meet you, David.
What's your name?
Nice.
Naz. I define temptation for you as follows: provoking somebody to commit sin. Now, in my paradigm, in the Christian paradigm, God cannot commit sin. Sin is going against God. God cannot go against himself. That would be illogical. But in your tradition, whatever that is, you believe that God can go against himself. Can you please explain to me then, does God have the ability to make himself stop existing? Because that's an example of him going against himself.
I can't go that far. I'm not educated at that stage.
So why
There's
even
no
talk about
limit
it?
onto that.
Okay, now here's my response to you. You might not be educated, quote unquote, neither am I, right? However, the idea is simple. God cannot do something that's illogical, because the very presence of logic in the universe comes directly from God. So,
You saying
If
that
God
Almighty, powerful God
cannot do
bad.
things that are illogical.
Illogical.
Illogical, yes. For example, God
Illogical makes sense, but you
cannot
can't
wipe
go-
himself from existence. God cannot sin. God cannot lie. Because these things are against God, who is the ultimate truth and the ultimate source of goodness.
So he's not going to lower himself to your level. Is
Sorry?
that what he said? He's not going to lower himself to your level to commit sin.
That's not what I'm saying of him lowering himself. I am saying I am saying that essentially for God, he cannot commit sin. Because if he does, it's illogical. He is going against himself because sin is going against God. So you cannot go against yourself, and God, being existence, cannot go against himself.
Don't make sense even on your books.
No worries, because the idea here is that you, like you said, are not educated, and because you're not educated, you're following an understanding
Just
that's
answer
wrong.
one question.
Yes, and I asked the question for you. You're referencing when Jesus was tempted by Satan.
Tempted by Satan.
Now, as I told you before, temptation cannot work.
Jesus being tempted by Satan and Muhammad. Muhammad was
Okay, keep that.
There's a difference.
Keep that for later.
There's a difference between tempting something to perform an activity that it cannot do. Like I told you, let's just say, for example, this tripod. It has a nature. The nature of a tripod. It stands on 3 legs. It's made of plastic and it folds. Can I make that tripod start flying? No.
And you ask God
Are you
who
answering
owns
the question?
everything. Come on, man.
Are you
I'm just
answering?
asking one
Are you listening?
question.
Are you listening? That
Don't make sense.
thing does
Just
not have the
circle
ability.
around.
Listen,
The bushes
that
doesn't
thing
make
does not
sense.
have the ability to do what I'm asking it to do. In the same way, Jesus does not have the ability to sin because he is God. It's that simple.
The question is, can devil tempt God or give God 7 kingdoms of his own kingdoms? Can he give him something? Can he give God something?
I've answered you, but now
It's
let
just-
me turn it on you for a second.
Circles around the-
In your tradition,
There's no
Allah,
way that my
in your
tradition-
tradition,
Stop.
Allah
Stop
is
confusing
the
the
inheritor.
viewers.
I think it's Al-Warith. I think, am I wrong? But he's the inheritor, right? Now, in your tradition,
one question.
Shaitan promises Adam a kingdom that will not decay.
Well, my question is,
Can Shaitan promise Adam a kingdom that will not decay when Allah is supposed to own the kingdom that doesn't decay and also inherit it? But if he's meant to inherit it, does that
lost
mean
it or something.
that Shaitan has the kingdom currently
Did you lose
and
it?
then later Allah will inherit it from
lose
Shaitan? What does that mean?
Did you lose it?
How? Wait, hold on a second.
Answer one
If
question.
Allah is the inheritor, how then can Shaitan promise Adam a kingdom that will not expire?
Autopilot.
That's what your Quran says, not me.
Come on, give me one answer. Can God be tempted?
I already answered you
by
5
the
times,
devil?
but now I want you to answer me.
doesn't make any
Can
sense.
Adam be tempted by Shaitan
just
with a
beat around the
kingdom that
bushes
does not expire
and don't
or
make
does not
sense,
decay?
and you look
And
for
then why
reasons.
then would Allah be called the inheritor if that kingdom was already his?
I'm just gonna have to.
So is Allah going to inherit the kingdom that won't decay from Shaitan?
I'm just gonna freeze because you're going crazy, bro. Just ask one
Okay,
question.
well,
That's all.
like I said, go on Revelation 22:13 and hear what I said again.
Stop with that.
There's an issue.
Please.
Premise 1, Allah is the inheritor. To be the inheritor, that means that there's something that. So, to explain premise 1, Allah is the inheritor, premise 1. To explain that means that there is something that Allah doesn't possess that He will get at some point. Premise 2, Shaitan promises Adam a kingdom that will not decay if he would bow down to him. So therefore, my conclusion is this. If Shaitan has the ability to promise Adam a kingdom that will not decay, does that then not mean that Shaitan is the one who owns the kingdom? And since Allah is the inheritor and not Shaitan, will Allah inherit the kingdom from Shaitan?
What are you talking about?
Again, hear me out. I'll say it one last time. By the way,
Just
wait.
go with the devil, okay? I can understand that part. Because
So,
it makes sense.
according to your tradition,
Yeah.
1 second.
Forget about my tradition. There's too many of you there.
Yeah,
Crazy
it's
ass, that
working.
doesn't make sense, and
Just check.
we can't listen to it.
Oh, sorry. Check that again. 1 second. No, I think I messed up your mic. Is get it again? 1 second. I'll be back. Yep. Okay. Thank you. My apologies, people. All right. To summarize,
Yes.
in your Quran,
Yes.
it says that Shaitan was going to give Adam a kingdom that would not decay if he bowed down to him.
Show me that verse.
I'll bring it up for you at the end. But these
stop
are
wasting my
these are the
time. Bring
problems.
that.
You didn't bring anything for me, so I'm bringing it for you. Now, secondly,
just ask a question. I didn't say it was
within
in
your
the Bible
Quran,
or not in the
Allah is
Bible.
called the inheritor. You can only inherit something that you don't currently own. Now, my question to you is this. If Shaitan has the ability to promise Adam a kingdom that will not decay, and Allah is the inheritor, does that then mean that Allah will inherit the kingdom that won't decay from Shaitan?
What the hell are you talking?
You're going to have to go home and stew on that
It's
one.
not in the Quran, so you're just adding things for viewers.
You're going to have to go home, Revelations
Question,
22:13,
for you.
and then read
Another
that one.
question for you, based on your principles and your questions. If you lie, cheat, steal, who do you serve? And you lie again, who do you serve? Come on.
It will depend.
Have a good day.
So, is the answer?
Stop lying to yourself.
Is the answer? All right, I'll answer this question. If you lie, cheat, and kill and steal, who do you serve? It's very simple. You can, for example, be a Christian who suffers with a problem of sin. You lie, you cheat, you steal. However, as a Christian, you are told that what you're supposed to do is cast those activities aside and follow God. Now, if you're somebody who is not a Christian, but who continues to sin and steal and cheat and lie, then, as the Bible says, your father is the devil. We would all agree that anybody who does that is someone you don't want to be around, you don't hang out with, and somebody who can be in a society, in your home, in your club with you. It's that simple. However, if you become a Christian, you have the ability to have God actually work on you to make the activities that you were doing go away. It's possible. How many people who go to jail for murder become Christians and maybe like come out of prison and then like stop doing that and become like charity givers or whatever? It can happen. You can be transformed, and your human condition can be elevated with the power of God. Without God, however, it's a lot more difficult. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult. Simple as that. That's for us. Anyway, people, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. That guy over there is a coward who can engage with me on any point that he raised. And that one in the corner is dying. Praise God. Simple as that. All right, I'm done.